parting thoughts. As is the case with the X-32, the YF-23 never faced the most dramatic problems to afflict the F-22 Raptor. It never experienced cost overruns, technology failures, software snafus, or pilot-killing respiratory issues. Those problems, which regularly afflict new defense projects, in fairness, the pilot's application is largely idiosyncratic to the Raptor, were consequential. In context of the broader demands of the War on Terror, Secretary of Defense Robert Gates curtailed the F-22 production run at 187 operational aircraft, just as the fighter was working through its teething troubles. Although understandable at the time, this left the USAF with a fighter deficit that only the F-35 could fill. Had the YF-23 enjoyed a smoother development path, a huge if, the fighter might not have faced such a hostile environment as it entered service. But given that the YF-23 was generally perceived to be the more innovative, and therefore riskier, design, and that it had a slightly higher price tag, the chances that it could have sailed through without a hitch are correspondingly low. And trouble with design and production might have left the USAF with even fewer operational fighters.
The F-23 included some characteristics that may eventually find themselves in a sixth-generation fighter, or perhaps in the Air Force's Deep Interceptor intended to support B-21 Raiders on the way to their targets. For example, the V-tail aspect has been mentioned in some of the early conceptualization for a next-generation fighter, and Boeing will undoubtedly harken back to its experience with the F-23 when thinking about its next fighter. For years, one of the two YF-23 prototypes sat in a hangar of unwanted planes, more formally known as the Research and Development Hangar, at the National Museum of the United States Air Force in Dayton, Ohio. The YF-23 was positioned right under the last remaining XB-70 Valkyrie, the centerpiece of the museum's collection. Both aircraft have now moved to the newly opened fourth building of the museum, where they continue to represent alternative visions of the past, future of the Air Force, visions deeply grounded in the industrial and organizational realities of American air power.
Robert Farley, a frequent contributor to TNI, is author of the Battleship book. He serves as a senior lecturer at the Patterson School of Diplomacy and International Commerce at the University of Kentucky. His work includes military doctrine, national security, and maritime affairs. He blogs at Lawyers, Guns and Money and Information Dissemination and The Diplomat.
Whether angular in form as in the Nighthawk, or a smooth, sleek design is seen here on the YF-23 Black Widow II. These exotic shapes do not significantly impact bomber design, since there is not as great a need for speed or maneuverability. But fighters still require both speed and maneuverability, even in the missile age. Unfortunately, incorporating stealth features in fighters dictates sacrifices in their performance. In 1990, the YF-23, despite having a stealthier design, lost out to the YF-22. Renamed the FA-22 Raptor, it was chosen because it was easier to maintain, had greater flexibility for future development, and was cheaper to produce at approximately $150 million per plane. The main attraction of stealth fighters is that, in theory, it should be nearly impossible for the enemy to target. This gives a fighter with stealth characteristics the ability to fire many of its long-range radar-guided missiles well before the enemy fighters can even detect its presence. Stealth technology is not a magic potion that makes a plane invisible, but through careful design and combined technologies, the optimum mix of performance and stealthiness can be achieved. The Raptor has the most stealth features of any new fighter aircraft. The Raptor carries its AIM-120C AMRAAM missiles internally to preserve its stealthiness. Missiles are launched through hydraulic arms that deploy the AMRAAM so quickly that the weapons bay doors are opened for less than 1 second per launch. The Raptor can fly supersonically in supercruise mode, reducing fuel consumption and avoiding the high heat signature associated with the use of afterburners. The first FA-22A Raptor was delivered to the U.S. Air Force in January 2003 and entered service in 2004. The Raptor is intended to replace the F-15 Eagle, an aircraft with an undefeated 104-0 combat record. The U.S. Air Force expects the Raptor to continue this impressive record well into the future.
While we're doing that, we're going to take advantage of some good opportunities to train with our partners over there. It should be a great experience. A lot of good training, a lot of good messages that we're sending as well.